Good morning, third graders, and welcome to another week of learning online. All right, I want to do another quick video just to walk you through Damocles and the King, section 3. This is the end of our paper. And today we are learning about the climax and the resolution. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I want to read the story quickly to you. So this is the climax of the story and the resolution, the results, okay? Damocles sat on the throne eating and listening to good music. He looked up. There, dangling from only a thin horse's hair, was a very sharp, heavy sword. Damocles lost his appetite. He could not enjoy the music. "Let me out of here," he cried. "What's the matter?" the king's servants asked. "That sword," Damocles said. "Yes, the king has many who would kill him to take his throne. He must live in constant fear," explained the servant. "Now I see that this is not a happy life at all. I do not envy the king anymore." Damocles went back to his farm and was grateful for the carefree life that he enjoyed. Okay, now just to review quickly, section 1, you guys have written about characters. Every story starts by introducing you to the characters of the story. You're reading Cricket in Times Square, and the first 4 chapters are about the characters, about Chester, the cricket, and about Tucker, the mouse, and Harry, the cat, and Mario, the boy. Okay, and in the setting we know is in New York in Times Square, very busy section in the United States. Okay, that would be the characters in the setting. Pretty soon in Cricket in Times Square, you're going to read about a conflict. That is the plot of the story. Actually, you've already been introduced to that conflict, all right? In Damocles and the King, you guys just wrote about the conflict last week. And the conflict was when Damocles started envying somebody else's life. He started having these feelings of discontentment that led him to make some choices. And we're going to see where those choices lead today, which is our climax of the story. So the conflict is kind of the exciting part of the story. It's when things start to happen and you start to wonder, uh-oh, this might not be a good thing, or maybe this is going to be a really good thing. But things start to happen in the conflict and in the plot. Now we're going to see what happens to solve these events that happen in our conflict. The climax is when you are seeing how the characters in the story are going to solve the problem that is happening in the conflict, okay? So the climax it's all the events that lead to the solution, which we just read, all right? And then what happens? What's the result of that climax? So the climax in this story, you're going to write about it on your outline today. That's all you're doing today, your outline. Tomorrow, you'll do your rough draft. And then Wednesday, you'll write your final paper, which will be all 3 sections together. Okay, so let's just work on our outline today of the climax and the resolution of this story. So last week was our conflict. Damocles starts feeling sorry for himself, and he starts thinking that he would rather be a king, live in the king's palace, and so it just so happens he runs into the king, and that's the exciting part of our plot. Is that the king says, "Sure, I want to go on a vacation anyway, so go ahead and take my place." Now, we're going to see what happens to solve the problem that happens when he gets to the castle. So, what is the climax, okay, in this section? What is the climax? Well, it starts with Damocles, right? He's sitting on the throne. And he's listening to music and he's feasting. Okay, this is all part of the climax. So I'm going to take 2 lines that talk about our climax, okay? These are the events that are leading to the solution of Damocles' discontentment, okay? So he gets to the throne. I'm going to write that as part of my outline. And he's listening to music. I'm going to actually make a symbol for music, okay, some music notes. And he's feasting. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else we could write there. Well, you could just do that. That's great. You don't have to have a third word in there. He's sitting on the, unless you want sitting, maybe. He's sitting on the throne, he's listening to music, and he's feasting. Okay? Now, the next part of the solution that happens to his discontentment. So he's sitting on the throne, he's feasting, he's listening to music, then he looks up. So maybe you could put looks, maybe an arrow. He looks up. And what does he see when he looks up? He sees a sharp sword, okay? Dangling. I think I want to write that word, that verb, because I just think it's important because it's just dangling. And you might remember that it's on a horse's hair. You know, you could even draw a picture that it's just dangling on a horse's hair from the ceiling, okay? And then in our box here it says, what is the climax? And then it says, what happens as a result of that? Wow, what happens? Damocles shouts, right? Maybe I'll do like a little megaphone that he's shouting, okay? He's shouting, and what is he shouting? Get me out of here. Maybe you could just write with quotation marks around it so you know he's yelling this. Get me, sorry, get me out of here. Okay? And so part of still what's happening as a result, all right, is that a servant replies, yes. So you could even write that he replies. Maybe you can just do that again. He replies, yes, the king has many enemies. Okay? That's what the servant replies. The king has many enemies that are always trying to kill him, right? And so then, how is this conflict resolved? Well, it's resolved by Damocles realizing that actually he had a pretty good life back on the farm, and his envy was leading him to make bad choices, thinking that someone else's life is better than his own, all right? So it asks here, is there a theme or a moral? And this is really important. We want to have some kind of an ending, clinching sentence. And usually in a lot of these fable stories, like Damocles and the King, okay, and fables, they have a moral. What's our lesson that we learn from this story? And almost every story will have some lessons that you can learn from it, from the characters, good or bad choices. Well, this one is definitely about envy, I would say, or discontentment. And that's when it's fun to have a Bible verse. The Bible does talk a lot about discontentment. And one of my favorites, because it's a visual that I love, is from Proverbs 14:30. And there it says that a heart at peace gives life to the body. Okay, a heart that's content, at peace, gives life to the body. But envy rots the bones, okay? It makes you more miserable. So I would actually write a moral, and I like that one, so you're welcome to borrow it. And I might do it like this, a heart, to help me remember, a heart at peace. Now, because this is a quote from the Bible, I'm going to write it as close to it as I can, and so that means I'm going to use more words. A heart at peace gives, okay, life. But could probably remember that. Now, this is the clincher or the moral, and this is what you're going to end up making your title from. So a lot of you asked me, do I write a title on these other sections? You were not supposed to write a title, or you didn't need to, on characters or conflict, because you needed to wait till the end of your paper to come up with your title. Because your title of your whole story of all three sections, okay, should reflect or be very similar to your very last sentence, your moral, your clincher. And so if I have that Damocles learned that the heart at peace brings life, but envy rots the bones, then I might call my title, I want to use something here from my sentence that is similar. So I might say contentment, right? This is what I could title it. Contentment brings life. That could be one title. I actually should capitalize my title. So here's some title ideas. Contentment brings life. That'd be a great title, okay? You've got life here. So, and you've got life here, all right? Or you could title it envy, because he was envious. He was envious of the king. Envy rots the bones. Okay, that would be a great title as well. If you want to come up with your own title, that's great. I'm sorry, this should be a capital R. When you do your title, always capitalize your words, rots. The only words you don't have to capitalize in a title are article adjectives, like the, okay, or a or an, unless it's the very first word, then you would. Anytime you have the very first word of a title or of a sentence, you always capitalize it. Okay, I have a lot on this board, but I hope that helps. Now, remember you're gonna do your outline, okay? And then you're gonna go down to this box and you're gonna do just what you've been doing. Because tomorrow you're gonna write a rough draft. So let's get some ideas of dress-ups for your rough draft. Let's do that now. So remember, I have told you that these pages, you should have a paper clip on them. You really should. These pages are a gold mine, page 155 to 161 in the back of your book. They'll give you all kinds of adjectives, okay? And all kinds of strong verbs and all kinds of ly words. And they'll show you your banned words that you want to circle in your rough draft. So go back to these pages and look at them and have fun with them in your brainstorm section. Okay, quality adjectives. We're going to start there. Okay, class, a quality adjective. An adjective modifies a noun, okay? So you're going to look for things that are nouns for your adjectives, like a throne, that's a noun. A sword, that's a noun. King, enemies, servant, those are all nouns. And that's what you want an adjective for. So you would go back here and you would say, oh man, I want some fun adjectives. So I'm going to look in my adjective section, which is on 156 and 157, and I'm going to say a big throne, okay? And here's big. It has all these words. So you could say huge, massive, towering, okay? And so I'm going to erase this now. No, I'm going to go over here. Okay, in your quality adjectives, in that box, I would write at least 2 and maybe 3. So I'm going to write enormous, okay? But you pick one. So his enormous throne, a sword. What kind of sword do I want? Interesting. There's something for interesting. An incredible sword. Okay. And then king or enemies. Let's say that these are bad enemies, okay? So you could say something like sinister enemies, harsh enemies, foul enemies, and then I'm gonna write foul, okay? Or one of those words. That way, when I write my rough draft tomorrow, I already have these quality adjectives picked out and I can put them in front of my nouns. Now, an ly word, okay, back to the brainstorming section here. An ly word describes an adverb, a verb, or an adjective, right? Back to that section. So you have the ly box there, ly words, that you're gonna put some ly words in there, okay? Your ly words, ly words. So go back to the section back here. I think ly is 158 or 159, no, 160. And look for some that you like, that you could use, like eagerly, right? Eagerly, Damocles went home. Tiffany, he eagerly went home. Or foolishly, he looked up. Or, yeah, so find your verbs, okay? A verb is a great place to start. Maybe Damocles yelled loudly, right? That's an ly word. So go to your verbs, okay? He looks up. He looks frantically up. Go to your verbs and find some ly words to go with them. Okay, and then your last, in the middle box is strong verbs. Find some strong verbs in place of your weak verbs, your banned verbs. Okay, I don't want this to be too long, but have fun with this outline and your rough draft tomorrow and your final paper. I'll give you instructions all week long. All right, you guys, take care. Have a great day.